What is reading? How would you define reading? What do you mean by reading? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by Adnan Ayaz. And today we will be dealing with reading, types of reading, and definition of reading. Let's see what we have for you today. So the first thing is the definition of reading. So it says, reading is a process of looking at series of written symbols and getting meanings from them. So it's about written symbols and getting meanings from them. Well, when we read, we use our eyes to receive written symbols like letters, punctuation marks, and spaces. And we use our brain to convert them into words, sentences, and paragraphs that communicate something to us. Hopefully, the definition of reading is clear. Well, let's see, and let's move on. Let us just see what we have next. Now comes the purpose of reading. Why on earth do we really have to do this reading stuff? And there could be a lot of people who really hate reading. They never would want to, they would prefer reading, they would rather prefer watching a movie or something over reading. So, well, there are purposes. The purpose of reading is to connect the ideas on the page to what you already know. If you know something already, and that is going to connect those ideas to whatever you know. If you don't know anything about a subject, then pouring words of text into your mind is like pouring water into your hand, like wasting it. That's how it is. Now moving on to types of reading, which are four, as you can see there: skimming, scanning, and then we have intensive reading and extensive reading. So let's have a look at them one by one. Skimming, sometimes referred to as just reading, means going through the text to grasp the main idea. Here, the reader doesn't pronounce each and every word of the text, but focuses their attention on the main theme or the core of the text. For example, skimming is, there could be more examples, there could be multiple examples of skimming. So they say examples of skimming are reading magazines or newspapers and searching for a name in a telephone directory. So it could be different. Like sometimes you read a magazine, and sometimes, well, other times you might be reading a newspaper, going through a newspaper, or you might be searching a name in the telephone directory. So these are the examples of skipping. You never actually very much focus fully or complete or rapt attention. You don't read things. You just skim through things. So that's what skimming is. Moving on, how to achieve skimming. When skimming, you move your eye, or rather how to do it. My apologies. When skimming, you move your eyes vertically as much as you move your eyes horizontally. Like you have to move your eyes both ways, both directions. In other words, you move your eyes down the page as much as you move them from side to side. Skimming is a bit like running downstairs. Okay, you know, if you never understand what skimming is, start running downstairs right now. It will help you understand skimming process. I'm not kidding. You can try that right now. I mean, but do watch my video before that. I mean, do complete it before you try that. Just jesting apart. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Scanning. So the scanning, the reader quickly scuttles across sentences to get to a particular piece of information, right? To get to a particular piece of information. That's what we call scanning. Scanning involves the technique of rejecting or ignoring irrelevant information from the text to locate a specific piece of information, right? Again, there's a same phrase, specific piece of information. When you're looking for it, that's what we call scanning. Okay, now moving on to how to achieve scanning. For instance, if you want to know the meaning of word virtuous from a dictionary, you will start searching the letter V and then I and then R. By then, you will probably be having the meaning of the word virtuous. Like you'll have found it automatically when you reach the word R. So that's a process. So this process of searching is called scanning. It is a technique of fast reading. If you want to be a fast reader, that's how it is. There it is. Echo. So you can try it right now. I mean, you might have already gone through dictionary a lot of times. So this is another way. Let's move on to number 3, which is intensive reading. Well, intensive reading is far more time consuming than skimming and scanning, as it needs the reader's attention. Like, it needs complete attention of the reader. So it says it needs the reader's attention to detail. I mean, this fully detailed kind of attention, full attention, rapt attention, or rather, there could be a best word to describe that. The reader needs to heed. There's a word heed, not heat. It's H-E-E-D, heed. Okay, so let's move on to what it is. It involves close reading that aims at accuracy of comprehension. Here, the reader has to understand the meaning of each and every word. I hope this one is clear. We do have example on the next slide, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so that's how to achieve intensive reading. It's more like an example here. Intensive reading activities include skimming a text for a specific information to answer true or false statement or filling gaps in a summary. Scanning a text to match headings to paragraphs and scanning jumbled paragraphs and then reading them carefully to put them into the correct order. Let me put it very in a simple way to you. Intensive reading is, in fact, the reading that you do in exams. When you have a paper in front of you and there are MCQs below that or maybe above that, and you have to answer those things, that's the intensive reading. You need to get out the answers or get the answers out of that paragraph or that passage, or you may have to answer true and false, or some choose the best answer kind of thing. That's then when the time when you do such reading, it could be an exercise, it could be exam or whatsoever. That's what we call intensive reading. I hope I have delivered the message. Now, moving on to extensive reading. Oh, this one is something really hilarious. It's something for someone who loves reading. Okay, let's jump right into what it says. Extensive reading lays more emphasis on fluency and less on accuracy. It usually involves reading for pleasure and is more an out of classroom activity. I know you guys are bored of reading the textbooks and course books, So this one is completely relevant, or rather is related to your story reading, novel reading, or reading for fun. Okay, let's say what it says. Let's see, actually. It is highly unlikely for readers to take up the extensive reading of the text they do not like. There's a fun fact. Of course, if you don't like anything, you're not going to do it. You're not going to read it if you don't like anything. So if you like something, if you heard about a book or some piece of information or a story, and somebody told you about it, so you were okay, I do want to go through that story. I definitely want to read that story. So if there is interest in you and then you go for reading it, that's what we call intensive. I'm sorry, I'm totally am. That's what we call extensive reading. And I'm not going to give you an example because I'm not going to tell you how to do extensive reading, because you know what to do. You already know it. Okay, let's not make it very lengthy and boring. So thank you very much for listening to me, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Keep learning. Yeah, that's the thank you part. See you soon in the next video, guys.